Hi, guys. Welcome back to another new moon reading with me on the Love and Science channel. So let's talk about this Aquarius new moon that's happening. It's been a weird time. I feel like I say this every single time I make a video anymore, but life has been weird. Like things this whole last week, we had Mars go direct on January 12th. We had Mercury turn direct yesterday. I'm doing this video on January 19th. We have Mars and Mercury in this really weird quincunx, and that is creating some like a lot of tense energy, like a lot of tension that's happening. Mercury quincunx Mars during this time can be really, really productive. That energy we're going to feel the strongest until January. I think it's going to be the day after the full, or the day after the new moon on the 22nd is when Mercury finally moves from the 8th degree to the 9th degree after being retrograde. But like, this energy is making us all feel a little bit racy. Like we can be really productive underneath this if we allow ourselves to stay focused on what our journey is, like what it is that we're supposed to be doing. I was talking with a dear friend of mine the other day, and truly this is a time to recognize that the old ways of doing things, it's impossible. You cannot turn the clock back and do things the way that we used to do them. When it comes to trying to make money, when it comes to finding love, when it comes to any kind of challenge in our lives, the way that we need to respond to those things is in a completely new capacity. So there's a lot of old patterns, subconscious patterns that are coming up right now. Old patterns of belief systems that just don't resonate in, like, I know in my soul, it doesn't resonate. Fear, a lot of fear can rise to the surface when this sort of discomfort is happening. Along with this Mercury and Mars quincunx that's happening, we also have Venus conjunct Saturn. Now, Venus will be exact conjunct Saturn on the 22nd. During the new moon, Venus will be a degree away. So let's look at this chart really quick. Oh, the first new year or first new moon of the year will be happening on Saturday, January 21st at 1:52 p.m. Mountain Time. So that'll be 3:52 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:52 p.m. Almost 12:53 p.m. actually, Pacific time. And so we have here, and look how very close this moon also is to Pluto. So the moon's going to join Pluto, creating a lot of those subconscious fear programs coming to the surface. This new moon is going to be one of those new moons that feels like a full moon. If you remember the Aquarius full moon in August, I'm going to laugh at that because it was a big full moon for me back in August of 2022. I should have looked at like the degrees and stuff like that and kind of done the research for that full moon back in August. But there was a lot of clearing that happened. If you guys can remember during Leo season in August of 2023, that full moon in Aquarius was very revealing. It revealed the people in our lives that we were no longer, supposed to be not even working with, but just having in our space. So there was no resonation there anymore. It revealed some things, some patterns, some subconscious patterns that we kept buying into over and over and over again, and creating these loops in our minds of, this fear of not being good enough, or not being, nobody showing up for us, or, just like different things. Being alone, like there was a really big fear for people of being alone. And there's a lot that's happened in the last 6 months since that full moon. And so now we have this Aquarius new moon at 1 degree and 32 seconds. And it's going to feel like a full moon, because the moon is going to brush right past Pluto just before she shows up with the sun. And allowing yourself to release that tension and to release that kind of hurt and pain and anguish and melancholy. It's going to hold on to you for a day. Like, I'm not here to put a fear into you guys. I'm here to help you get through this energy. We also have Venus conjunct Saturn, which could bring up feelings of isolation and sadness and melancholy. Love relationships, or any kind of relationship, really, any relationship that is not allowing you to be free, because that's what Aquarius is. Aquarius is freedom loving. Aquarius needs to expand their wings. Aquarius needs to be able to have the entirety of the earth to be able to walk through. Just like Sagittarius. They need to be able to journey. They need to be able to fly whenever needed, right? And so there's this very big exclamation point. If you're in any kind of relationship, doesn't have to be a love relationship. It can be a friendship. It can be any work relationship, anything that is pushing down your self-esteem, anything that is not truly allowing you to be free. Do you know that love is freedom? Freedom is love. And the world doesn't teach us that. The world teaches us to be bound by love. The world teaches us that if we don't have a partner, then who are we even, right? So this new moon, along with joining Pluto before joining the sun, will also have Venus and Saturn at 1 degree conjunct here. And so the fears that come up of being alone, the fears that come up of feeling like you're not good enough, the fears that come up that you feel like you can't go on and you can't, that there's something that's holding you back, or you feel stuck in some way, shape, or form, allow them to move through you. We have a lot of fixed energy happening here. We'll have the sun and the moon and Venus and Saturn all in fixed Aquarius. We still have Uranus here and the North Node still in fixed Taurus. And, then we have this cardinal energy with Jupiter, Chiron, Mercury, and Pluto. So there's not the only kind of mutable side that we really have is Neptune over here that's been in Pisces for years, since 2012. And then we have Mars that has been creating chaos since he went retrograde in October, on October 30th, 2023. And now he's direct. And now there's more to contend with. You can see the quincunx, or in conjunction is what we would call this, in conjunction or quincunx, which is 150 degrees. These planets being 150 degrees apart from each other creates this aspect. And that aspect is, there's a lot of impatience that comes with it, a lot of competitiveness, oversharing, being outspoken. This is a really good time to slow down. It's a really good time to put your ideas down on paper. It's a really good time to trust your instincts. And if you can't feel your instincts because you're racing, your energy's like all super racing, or you can't feel your energy because you're really sad. That needs, those things are coming up so that you'll pay attention to them. just in a couple short months, we're going to have Saturn moving into Pisces and joining Neptune in Pisces. And so this is that opportunity for us to really get the last benefits for those of you that are ending your Saturn return. I even put up on Twitter last week, I think it was, to remember that even if you're ending your Saturn return right now, those 7 years after your Saturn return is over is the time that you integrate the lessons of your Saturn return. I don't make the rules. Don't get mad at me. I'm not here. Like, Saturn is not a bad dude sometimes if you allow yourself to be open to what he's trying to show you. And Saturn in Aquarius has been showing us to rise up. Like, this humanity thing that we're all living in is a time for us to use our voices. And, you know, I mean, it's going to be even more so as the North Node gets closer to being in Aries, which happens in July this year. So a lot of things are shifting. There's a lot of generational aspects in the coming months. We're going to be seeing this shift happening and getting closer. Pluto moves into Aquarius. Saturn goes into Pisces. The North Node moves into Aries. And all of those things are bringing new opportunities. All of those things are bringing a new energy generationally for everybody, collective. All of these little personal planets and having these new moons and all of this, these are those day-to-day activities that like when we allow ourselves to focus on what it is that we need to do, the other stuff kind of falls into place. The other stuff sort of falls into the line, into that alignment, that resonation, right? So you may find that relationships that you're no longer supposed to be having, whether they're friendships, love relationships, business partnerships, doesn't matter. The relationships that don't allow you to be free, the relationships that don't allow you to spread your wings and be who you truly are in your most authentic form, you may find even yourself, if you're not loving yourself, if you're not allowing yourself to be free in those ways as well, that will be brought to your attention. And when it's brought to your attention, how you respond to it will speak volumes. If you are staying in situations that are no longer serving you, but they're serving the other person, this is going to be that great big push forward that you needed to get out of that situation. Are you going to do it, or are you going to stay? Are you going to allow yourself to grow, or are you going to be stagnant and stay in the same position that you were in at this time last year? And I think the most important thing, you know, I've been seeing a lot of take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. The selfishness that's happened. And I understand why. I understand why everybody has to, you have to focus on yourself. Like there comes a time in everybody's life where we have to really be able to look at things and say, no more, no longer. I have to stand up for myself. I have to be there for myself. But you can still have compassion and empathy for humans. You can stand up for yourself and still be able to empathize and have compassion for people that are having difficult times and difficult moments in their life. A lot of times when we don't have compassion for other people, it's because we haven't found compassion with ourselves. A lot of times when we can't find the love with other people, it's because we haven't found the love with ourselves. And I think that this new moon is opening up a whole bunch of doors and opportunities as long as we allow it. And that's really what astrology is all about. Like, you don't have to act a certain way. You don't have to feel a certain way just because the stars and the planets are aligned in a certain kind of way. You don't have to feel any of that. But if you're not allowing yourself to be free during this Aquarius new moon, it will be loud. It will be very, very loud. So Let's take a look. First of all, we're going to get a surrender card, the power of surrender. Let's see what it is that we all are surrendering for this Aquarius new moon. Woo! That's a good one. Surrender your ego. Cultivate gratitude. Be of service to others. Aquarius is the humanitarian sign, by the way. Be of service to others and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. Surrender your ego. Very, very interesting that this came up because there's a lot of wanting to only be of service to ourselves these days. And I think that when it comes down to it, community and having friendships, and honestly, you guys, I wouldn't have said this 2 years ago, probably. But having a community and having friendship, having, you know, the family that's not your blood related family, but the family that you have cultivated in this life is extremely important. I have learned that I can't survive. Like, you know, the position that I'm in my life, I can't survive without community. I can't survive without other people being there for me and being my heart and my soul every day and being a part of that. So surrendering your ego, being of service to other people. Humility seems to have become a nasty word in 2023. Nobody wants to be humble. And I understand that too, because in a woman's world, for those of you who are not women, understand, in a woman's world, humility usually means that we're being walked all over. Being humble usually means that you are not shouting at the rooftops how amazing you are, because women have been taught in this patriarch society that we are in that their voices don't matter, that if they are a nuisance in any way, shape, or form, if they create a chaos, a ruckus in any way, shape, or form, then it's inherently bad, right? So humility has become a bad word, especially for the female archetype. Okay. So it's so interesting because we have two masculine energies here. And I want you to remember that masculine energies does not equal men. Feminine energies does not equal female. Okay. When I'm talking about the masculine and the feminine, I am talking about what we hold inside of us, the energies we hold inside of us. The masculine is the logical, the construct, and the feminine is the intuitive. And when we are in touch with both of those energies inside of us, magic happens because the equal parts of us are creating. We're being both logical and intuitive at the same time when we have that balance inside of us. 10 of Swords, the Moon, and the King of Pentacles. The Two of Wands and the King of Cups. I feel like for some of you, there is an ending that you've probably known about for a while, but still refuse to see it coming with the 10 of Swords. And it could be with an earth sign who holds masculine energy. The Two of Wands with the King of Cups. I do feel like dropping down into your intuitive nature, to answer the questions for yourself is going to be something that you'll need to do. Because that Two of Wands, it's like if you are at a crossroads and you need to make a decision about someone or something in your life, and you're just standing here and staring at a globe in your hand, like you could do anything. You could go anywhere and be anybody. That's what that Two of Wands is actually telling you. You could do anything. You have the whole world in your hand. And yet you sit. Right? So there's an ending. There's an impending ending. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. There's an impending ending that's happening here. And the moon represents our intuition as well, our intuitive guidance that we have inside. So surrendering the ego is really, really big for this reading. Let's see. 10 of Swords. A lot of times we project how bad that ending's going to be. 9 times out of 10, the ending is really not as bad as we thought it was going to be. So there's the ending of something. And for some of you, you are really going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on what to do with it. The Knight of Wands on the 10 of Swords is like this wishy-washy, like it's the same kind of energy. Like I have a decision to make and I know that it's going to be brutal to make that decision, but I know that if I don't make that decision, I'm going to be stuck. There's going to be this cycle that's just going to keep on repeating over and over and over again. For some of you, you realize that you have to be the decision maker. Nobody else is going to make this decision for you. Oh, I thought I had oh, here it is. Chapstick. It's dry up here in the mountains. And then we have the High Priestess on the moon, which just emphasizes that the moon is here to remind you of your intuitive nature. That new moon in Aquarius, and these energies are going to last for probably about a week or so. That new moon in Aquarius is going to be nudging you. Nudge, nudge, nudge. And the more this new moon nudges you to change your direction, to finally make that decision, the more discomfort you're going to feel. Do you know that evolution can't happen without us being uncomfortable? Evolution isn't inherently good, and evolution isn't inherently bad. It just is. It just exists. We change. Every day we change. And if you're not allowing yourself to change with the tides that are happening, 10 of Swords. Painful, discomfort over and over and over again. And a lot of times the most pain and discomfort comes from our mind. This is going to be an air new moon, right? Aquarius is an air sign. And so it's going to be very intellectual, and we're going to be stuck up in our heads if we're not moving forward in the energy. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune with the King of Pentacles. I feel like for some of you, when that intuitive nudge happens and you finally make that decision for yourself, this wheel starts churning again. The Wheel of Fortune is very Jupiterian. And when we have this Wheel of Fortune happening, positive shifts and changes come forward after a time of great discomfort. That's just the nature of the beast, you guys. I don't make the rules. I just don't. I don't make the rules. And there's so much to be upset about in the world. The things that are happening, if you turn on the news, if you open social media, there is always going to be something that can bring you down until you allow yourself to change it. Remove your focus from the distractions. Put your focus back on what you're supposed to be doing for yourself. And if there are people distracting you in your life and it's not coming from social media and it's not coming from the news, you know that it's time to make a decision. And here's the thing is the decision that you're going to be making for yourself. There's that intuitive feminine energy. In order for you to make decisions for it'll come like lightning, like a lightning bolt. I literally feel like there's going to be a thunderstorm with lightning somewhere in this country. And some of you are going to get that aha moment. I had a lightning bolt come through my bedroom. Gosh, it was back in 2017. Yeah, it was the summer of 2017. And I remember that it hit it didn't affect anything but me. And then when I looked at the building, because I was in an apartment building, when I looked at the building the next day, there was no sign of a lightning bolt that hit the ground or hit my window or hit the building or anything like that. But I felt it and it just zipped right through me. So this Ace of Wands on the Two of Wands, this feels like that aha moment. This feels like the freedom. This feels like the decision. And man, let that electricity just go right up your body when you make that decision. Aces are gifts from the universe. And we are provided those gifts from the universe when we're ready for them. It's called divine timing. That's what the Wheel of Fortune tells us. Divine timing. I don't know how many times I have thought of something that I wanted in my life. And then it didn't happen. And so I just waited. And I thought, okay, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. It'll happen when I'm ready. The money will come when I'm ready. The opportunities will come when I'm ready. And so I just got ready. And I allowed myself to focus. And then bam, the lightning bolt. And then I didn't even have to make the decision. It was made for me. Recently, it was like October, I think, that I was having a conversation with someone about having a shamanic drum made for me. And I knew I had previously looked into it, how much they are, and I wanted it to be made. If I wasn't making it with my own two hands, I wanted it to be made specifically for me. Those were my conditions of getting a shamanic drum. And I saw it like when we got to Colorado, when we got settled into the space, I saw that they were doing drum making in a city that was a couple hours away from here. And I thought, if I'm supposed to go to that and make a drum, I will. But I didn't. And then I had some friends come into town, and one of them had mentioned, she was like, why don't you let so-and-so, why don't you trade services with so-and-so to have this drum made for you? And this was like back in October, or early October. And so I still waited because I thought, well, I don't want to approach, if somebody doesn't want astrology services or tarot services, like I'm not going to push that on anyone. I'm not that person that's going to force anything to happen anymore. So I waited, and I just allowed myself to wait and allowed myself to wait. And just a few days ago, the beautiful person who is now, doing my drum for work, making my drum with her own two hands for me to the specifications we've worked with, she came to me and said, I'd like to have a reading with you. And we talked about it, and we're going to trade the services to do it, which I love doing with people. I love that we get to trade services in this world. But it was such an amazing aligned moment because I just stayed patient. I knew that when it was time for me to have my drum would come to me. And so, and I know that that's kind of a silly story, like, Betsy, why are you telling me a story about a shamanic drum? But things like that happen in big ways and small ways all the time if we just stop trying to force it and we allow ourselves to become prepared for those moments. We don't often realize that yes, we do have control over a lot of things that we can do in our life. But when it comes down to it, our soul wants us on a certain path. Our soul wants us doing certain things at certain times. And when you're so in touch with that soul and you know, wanting to be on that soul journey in the deepest way, in the deepest level for yourself, things just happen. It's like lightning. It's like a lightning bolt. And then you don't have to make the decisions, big or small. It happens all the time. It happened when it came to me finding a new doctor, a new oncologist to take care of me. It came when I needed a new housing situation and it showed up for me. It comes in so many different ways. And so I really hope that you can see the gratitude in that and the appreciation of all of the ways that the universe shows up for you when you have been focusing on yourself and you've been focusing on your journey. 6 of Pentacles with the King of Cups. This is very clear. The 6 of Pentacles is about not giving of yourself so much that you're depleted. And specifically not giving of yourself so much that you're depleted to one person or to one situation, and allowing yourself to broaden more and more and more. The 6 of Pentacles is very much a hierarchy system. Who are you still giving your energy out to who is not giving back to you because they do not have the capacity to give back to you? That's a question. That's a tough one that you have to ask and answer for yourself. If you're no longer giving back or getting in return what you've been putting out to people, done. That's what the Aquarius full moon taught me. And I feel like that's what this Aquarius new moon, it's like coming full circle and really recognizing and realizing that sure, the ending might be tough. Sure, the decision might be the hardest decision you've ever had to make for yourself. For some people, it won't be. For some people, it won't be that dramatic. For some people, it will. But when we make that decision, when we listen to our own inner wisdom, our own guidance, our own support, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Right? So allow it. Allow anything to be possible, you guys. So, I have a new reading available. Saturn is going to be moving into Pisces in March. And if you have a lot of Pisces, if you have any Pisces placements, you'll want to get the Saturn in Pisces reading. If you don't have Pisces placements, but maybe you have your Saturn return coming, whether it's your first or second Saturn return, and Saturn is in Pisces and it's coming up, this reading is probably would be very advantageous for you. If you don't have any Pisces placements and Saturn is not in Pisces for you, this is not your Saturn return, but you are a Virgo, a Gemini, a Sagittarius, probably going to want to look at this reading and get this reading. So it's on my website. It's available on my website. And it's going to be a recorded one, so you won't have to be there live. And I'm going to look at Saturn will be in Pisces until 2025, and we will look at the next 2 years before Saturn moves into Aries. And I also have my books are open for February. I'm just loving doing these readings while I'm feeling good. So take advantage. I love you guys. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye.